Working on some stuff here, and I'm not feeling the greatest today, to be honest with you. So what I'm going to do right now is, like, if anybody shows up, you show up, and I appreciate that. And if not, well, this is a shorter video anyway, but we'll see if I can actually get your thoughts and your feedback on something right there. So I'm gonna I don't want it to go. Please stay quiet here. On something right there. So there we go. Anywho, if you're there, let me know, and I'll be able to see it in the comment section because I have a question. So what I've been doing over the course of the last few hours is I've decided to do a video. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do it on my regular channel or if I'm going to do it on the in the Crimson Cult Patreon. That's part of what I'm trying to figure out right now because it's going to be fairly big. It's going to be, my finger's in the way, a bit of a tier list type of video, but a different one. It's not just a regular list, and it's not just done normal. And I'm trying to decide if I can get my better half. Hey there, Dave. Welcome, man. If I can get my better half to do it, then it'll be on Patreon, because that's when I'm sure that it will be. But if it's just me and my own, then I might do it here. And I'm trying to decide whether I should do this live or I should do this as a pre-tape. So I thought about the companies that I've been collecting for a while and ones that give me joy over the years. There's been so many great companies, whether it be like Scream Factory, Criterion, Vinegar Syndrome, BFI. Hey, wait, man. So many different companies. So what I decided to do was take the microscope out and kind of look at and do my best to talk about and rank the first 2 years of Scream Factory. Scream Factory's first year only had 7 titles, but they started out with 2 amazing ones, Halloween 2 and 3. But over the course of 2 years, they put it around like 42 to 43 titles. So that is a massive undertaking when it comes to a ranking list. If I can get my better half in for that list, then we'll be doing it on the Crimson Cult, and we'll be doing it live together again with everybody here, and I'll put it the tier lists when I get it made. If I'm doing it on my own, then it'll be here on the regular channel. And either way, I kind of want your feedback on, hey there, Dustin, welcome, man, on whether you'd rather see it live or if you would like to see that be something that I pre-tape, because there's a lot of titles. So if I can get my better half and to work with me with this one, it'll be an interesting one to do because she would have seen some of the titles, some she wouldn't have seen. But early on, when I was collecting Scream Factory, she watched a lot of them. And, there's movies like They Live that she would have loved, Saturn 3. Talk about ones that we got, ones that we managed to kind of slip through our hands and have a bit of fun with it. Got your indicator, Holland. Excellent, man. The more and more I'm talking about it, the more and more I think that it's going to be a Crimson Cult thing. And let me know your thoughts on it now, because I really would like to chat your opinion, because I'm putting a lot of time into it. And overall, right now, it's been around like 3 or so hours that I've been going through all the different titles that Scream Factory put out in the first 2 years of their company. Nice. The Mae West set's amazing. So are Columbia Noir Volumes 3 and 4. They're incredible sets. So let me know if you like this idea, because what I can do is I can maybe do similar things for other companies as well down the road. And if I can do it in the way that I want to do it, what I like to do is do like a conversation with the tier. Basically, the tier list is a way to kind of look at the different titles that came out. And I'll do it with other like companies. I'll do like maybe one with Vinegar Syndrome, one with like 80 Films, stuff like that, styles like that. Hey there, George. Welcome, man. I know you got Terrifier 2 today. I saw that. Or not today, but was it today? It's all melding into one. So if anybody can give me their feedback, I would really appreciate it. This was meant to be a short video for just to get like some feedback on your thought on my Scream Factory idea. So what I want to do is hopefully get my better half in, make it a Crimson Cult video, and go through the first 2 years, every release, Blu-ray and box set, put out by Scream Factory, and have a whole tier list for it, rank them, get, you guys would be able to talk to my better half, like, but the movie, she'd give you her opinions on it. No, she hasn't said yes yet, so that's the one thing I'm working on. But you guys are pretty silent, so I honestly don't know how to take that. It's very late at night, and I've been working like really hard today. So if you can give me like some feedback, it'll be much appreciated. Because if not, this is going to be a very, very short video. I'm starting to wonder if you can hear me, to be honest with you. So the way I see it is if I don't get any positive feedback on the Scream Factory thing, I'll just pre-tape it on my own, and I'll put it out there somehow in some form or another. Thank you, Dustin. I was kind of nervous. I was getting nervous because nobody had responded. And to be honest, after working on this for a while, it's kind of hurtful. Tales from the Crypt Vault of Horror. That's a good one. Thank you. So if I can, I can't promise to get my better half in, but if I can, I will try and get her in for this video. I'm trying to get her in for one for Halloween, and I wanted to do something special. I want to do something different. Everybody's going to be like ranking Halloween films or ranking whatever. Hey there, Antoine. If I can get my better half in for something like this, and we can do a list looking at the Scream Factory releases, one of the companies that actually legitimately got me back into collecting, then yeah, so basically the years we'll be looking at is 2012, 2013. So their first year was like seven titles, and then the rest were in the second year. There was box sets that came out. There was a ton of movies. Hey there, DJ. The Howling is a masterpiece. American Werewolf in Paris is not. Just saying, man. If I can get her in, it'll be a Crimson Cult, and keep an eye out for that. So for those that aren't members, there's usually a link. I doubt there'll be one there tonight. Into the at the bottom there for our Patreon. That's what we call our Patreon is Crimson Cult. And anytime that I have like a lot of times I have special guests on, like my better half or family or some people, that a lot of times that goes into into my Patreon, to the Crimson Cult, because that's because they keep my lights on. And that's the it's the truth of the matter. Oh, the Paranormal Activity set, nice. I saw that set. There's some really cool sets coming out, man. I thought about making a live video tonight. I was gonna like do a whole big video on some stuff, and I just got like a little out of it. American Werewolf London. I mean, I recently watched a video, William, or what's that? I heard somebody talking about like how much how overrated they thought the American Werewolf London is, and I completely disagree. American Werewolf London is an incredible movie. It's one that I utterly adore. Like, I was in a video, and Metal Tavern was in it too, with the American Werewolf in London against The Howling. Basically talking about those two films. I need tea if I'm gonna stay awake any longer to do this. But I voted for The Howling because that's my favorite of the two, but I like them both. I don't. It'll depend on the Black Friday titles. Well, I do know. I know most of them, but I don't know them all. But you can expect to see me doing coverage right here on. In the Custom International. So you will see live coverage for the Black Friday sale for the, like, same as last year. We'll do a show, a kind of a pre-show on the regular channel. Then the Crimson Cult will follow me over for the live one where we can actually look around and shop together. I think I'm gonna have a coffee. Hold on a sec. Hello. See if I can show you. Huh? Like, come for me, stay for the quality kitty action. She has been so active over the last day. Hold on. I gotta make coffee. I apologize. Hopefully you can hear me okay. If it was earlier, I'd make an espresso. But just gonna go for the regular Astra. I think that I'm sorry if I missed your message. I'll see it afterwards. Two. Here you go. Should have turned you guys toward the cats. Thank you for asking, George. What she has is something that could stay with her for a while. It could stay with her for life. But either way, we got to keep our eye on it and see how things are going. Just gotta get this, and I'll be right back. Hey there, Tyler, welcome. Came in for a very impromptu video. But depending on how many people that we get for the Scream Factory first 2 years, that'll let you guys kind of know if we're going to continue doing with for other companies. So basically, if like the Scream Factory one goes okay, we might end up doing one for like Vinegar Syndrome or Severin. Oh, sweetie. So I figured tonight we'll chat, do a bit of house cleaning. I desperately need a new iPad too. Probably a new phone too. But my iPad and my iPhone recently, William, have been heating up. I'm noticing that on the side of my iPad, especially. Hold on, it's been heating up a lot. All right, there you go. So I've been trying to. I got. If you haven't seen my Terror Train review yet, please check it out. She's having a blast. And I'm not sure if you can tell from like when I first showed her on here, she has grown a bit. So we have these chairs. I'll show you. Hold on a sec. It's software. Oh, so it's not just you. You need a cat, Jesse. So you see these chairs here, which I love, by the way. They're there by the island. So she would like jump around, and she'd only get to about halfway's up. She'd never make it to the whole way. And now she can jump right on top. Blew my mind tonight. It made me realize that she'd grown taller. Not just taller, but she's getting more active. So I did a Terror Train review a couple days back. I will be doing a review for Bodies as well, and but it's Terror Train is one of those that like people like either they liked it or they didn't like it. But what kind of got to me was that I did a review for Halloween Ends, and it was overall it was fairly positive. I mean, like it was along the lines of like I liked what they were doing with the film, but there were certain things near the end that I didn't like. Yeah, I know you got a nice iPhone 14. I'm jealous, George, but that's really cool, man. And it was kind of like they're doing something different, right? So I'm like, okay, I'll see how like after I watch it a few more times, see how it goes into me. I wasn't signing a petition, I'll tell you that much. Those people are embarrassing. So people were super upset because Halloween Ends was really different and wasn't all like what they thought this was going to be. They wanted this to be more of a Michael Lowry slasher film. And I completely agree with they were basically sold a bill of goods that they never quite actually got. And although I did like the film overall myself as a film, I could also understand and felt a bit too that yeah, we may have been kind of like they may have tricked us, I guess, a little bit. Am I okay with it? I'm okay with it. But do I understand if somebody doesn't like Halloween Ends? Yeah, hell yes. So imagine my surprise when I turned on Tubi and they did I haven't seen VHS 99 yet, Planet. I need to check that one out. I'm hoping it's good. I like the first two VHS. I did not like the third one. The third one was kind of blah, but I haven't seen 99. But I'm definitely gonna check that out. So I watched Terror Train, and Terror Train was pretty much it was a remake of the movie Terror Train, with a different ending. Pretty much instead of having like one like final girl character, like Jamie Curtis in the original, they have two, which works for me because I thought, okay, well, there's two, you know, and they make him like likable enough that you don't want to see them die. Oh, they're gonna reboot it, yeah. Jesse, 4 years from now is the 50th anniversary of Halloween. So, no, I appreciate that, man. So I would expect another Halloween for the 50th anniversary. And they're not going to go on from the David Gordon Green thing is their own thing. Just think of the David Gordon Green trilogy. So if you don't like it, for instance, or even if you do like it much in the way Rob Zombie's was his own thing, and it had its fans and it had its detractors, right? So the David Gordon Green trilogy it's its own thing. It's going to have its fans. It's going to have its detractors. There's a backlash for Rob Zombie 2, Halloween 2. There's a backlash for Halloween Ends. both of these films, both of these series were kind of their own timelines, but they really divided, I guess, is the fan base. And for anybody that thinks that Halloween Ends is like the first movie that's divided the fan base, like this never watched, wasn't around when H2O came out, or Halloween 6 came out, or the Rob Zombie ones came out. Poor Rob Zombie. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the Rob Zombie Halloweens. I like the first one, not so big in the second one. Like Rob Zombie, like pretty much got hate. Like you got hate and death threats. I know all about those. So yeah, it's kind of silly. But yeah, they'll reboot it. There's always going to be another Halloween. They're not going to give up on Michael Myers. I think Halloween 2018 is probably my favorite out of the three. Like, to be honest with you guys. Hey there, Eddie. Welcome. But yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, like the way I see it is, if you don't like a timeline, if there's movies or choices that aren't gelling with you, wait a couple years, because there's gonna be another one. Halloween, we got the original timeline with the sister and the Thorn. I mean, then we got the where he blows up and he catches on fire and two, and that's it. Some people leave it there. Then you got Thorn trilogy. Then you got Season of the Witch. It's all on its own. There you see it. Halloween Kills. A lot of people, a lot of really hardcore slasher fans, and people that like. I find that I'm not sure if you liked Jesse, if you liked Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 or not, but I find that a lot of people that liked Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, like Halloween Kills, and I'm a fan of Halloween Kills, and I understand that was the advice of the film too. But well, yeah. Anyway, I apologize. I got on a bit of a side road there. So, Terror Train comes out, and it's pretty much like it's Terror Train. It's people on a train. They've changed it to Halloween instead of New Year's, because who the frick year wears like costumes on New Year's like that? And they changed the ending because the twist is done. If you were to make Sleepaway Camp again, you can't have that same ending, because everybody knows that ending. It's the one thing everybody knows about Sleepaway Camp, even if they haven't seen the movie. It's like Terror Train. A lot of people have never watched the movie Terror Train. And that's okay. Like, it may not be their jam, but a lot of people hated on Terror Train, the more recent one, for doing a standard slasher film. So on one side, we have like this camp that's like, Halloween Ends is not a standard slasher film. They're doing something weird and different. I don't like that. And those exact same people are saying, "Oh, Terror Train is a slasher film. It's not. It's not taking enough chances." I don't like that. And I'm in the middle thinking, why can't we all just like get along and like what we like and not like what we don't like, without like trashing other people's opinions or ideas? That's my thought on it. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Zombies Halloween 2, but I will be the first person to tell you right now that one, Zombie went out there. Like David Gordon Green did, he went out there and he did his thing. Now, Halloween Ends worked for me. It didn't work for a lot of people. Zombies Halloween 2 worked for a ton of people. And when I say it worked, I mean, for you can look at a lot of like Halloween lists, and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, which I don't get, or I have not been able to get, like just wrap my head around. Doesn't just work for people. It's like in the top 3 to 4 that of the Halloween films that they like. So it just does. It's not just a movie that, okay, well, a couple people liked it. No, a lot of people liked it. God, I love coffee. But it makes you think, right? Yeah, I mean, like I don't love everything the zombie does. Like I was not a fan of like the director's cut of Halloween, the first one, because that he did, you know, that the escape thing was just not needed. But I utterly defend the hell out of oh God, what was the one? Remind me now, guys. It's like oh, it's 3 o'clock in the morning here. What was the one about the with the witches? God, I really like that one. I don't think like standard slashers are a. I appreciate the time and thank you. Lord, just saying them. Thank you. That's what it was. This stuck in my head. And I just couldn't get it. I just kept thinking 31, one I didn't like. This song. Hold on a sec. All right, there you are. You're chasing birds. It's awfully late. Sorry about that. But yeah, I'll defend the hell of Lords of Salem. I love that film. Oh, you want to see my? It's kind of dark now, Eddie. But we have a an outside area. Well, we live in a condo. So let me see. So outside here, you're going to see mostly. But there you go. So you make some plants outside, some pepper plants, but it's all caged off because we want like other cats or anything getting down here, especially these little. Sometimes you get like birds and stuff that'll fly up above you. Their feathers will come down. I'm not joking either. We get some feathers down there. Have you seen the Soup to the Craft? I didn't mind it actually. A lot of people didn't like that one. I thought it was okay. Terror Chain is a lot of. Have you seen the new one, George? Oh, what was I saying? Slasher films, yeah. It's so easy to make a standard slasher film. And for a while, I think people thought that they couldn't, that if they made a slasher movie, it had to be completely meta. It couldn't be slasher, it couldn't be serious. And after they went through the whole meta phase, people then considered slashers as being too watered down. So then they wanted it to be super hardcore. They wanted slasher films that were going to be like just blood and guts. And if there's a story, that's great too. But I think we've gotten to a point now where we've gotten to the legacy, we've gotten through this the whole legacy slashers, the requels, all this type of stuff, where we can kind of have a mixture of both, where we can still get like a kind of a standard slasher film, something more along the lines of the Terror Train. Like for instance, one of the things that I was very surprised of to see in Terror Train, and it's a fleeting sequence, and it means nothing to like a lot of people. But if you're a slasher fan, like of the '80s slasher, you know the '81 to '84 era, there's I'm watching Terror Train, and it shouldn't surprise me, but there's sequence with when she opens up a curtain on the train, and there's two people making love. So there's nudity in the film. And so we're on a closer to our same time schedule, George. And I know it seems like such a silly thing, but I'm not sure if you watch the Scream movies, you know what I'm talking about, or I know Dilla Summers, they pretty much steered clear of like any kind of nude sequences or anything like that. That usually tended to be like the straight to video-y, like really stuff where you got to see that. You kind of moved away from it. Mandy, is that all the buzz of Mandy Lane? Great film. It's one of those films that suffered due to the fact that it got such a good buzz at Cannes, and then getting distributor, getting it out was the hard part. So people had like built up the buzz so much that when some people saw All the Boys Love Mandy Lane, it couldn't live up to. Sorry guys, it couldn't live up to its. You're gonna slide down. You're gonna slide down. You know that, right? Okay. Oh man, I need a Cage film. Well, yeah, I love that too. That's very Lovecraftian. But my favorite Lovecraftian film, which is not Lovecraft, is it's pretty simple actually. In the Method of Madness, I love In the Method of Madness. John Carpenter, I don't think he ever like really did an actual Lovecraft like adaptation, but he's been one of those people that's been able to do very Lovecraftian stuff. Beyond the Black Rainbow. As we get closer to Halloween, I've been desperately trying to think of like things I could do on the channel that were different and were unique. I was feeling a little bit under the weather today. I got up and I said, okay, I'm gonna work on something. So today has been like the Scream Factory day, and part of it, I think part of the reason, and what kind of like the genesis behind the idea was, well, I did a couple. No. Hold on a second. Get out of that. So that was our internet that she was deciding to play around with, and no. That cable, it's gotta go somewhere else. I'm gonna have to like stick it on there or something. Sorry. Okay. No, sorry. So she went outside for like 2 seconds, like behind the curtains. And then she like stuck her head in to like the curtains. It's kind of hard to do, right? Unfortunately. It's really hard, to be honest with you, Metal Tavern DJ, getting used to the time difference has been different for me. And I wasn't feeling the greatest today, so I ended up crashing for like a large portion of the day. Plus, in the last couple weeks, and I'm not sure if you noticed or not. Hopefully, you have. I've been working a lot on the channel, and I've been trying to get as much as possible. It's been hard for a channel over here right now because we lost some viewership over like and some patrons when we were moving. Basically, we went through a period with hurricane and the move and everything slowed down our channel a bit. So we went like, because we weren't getting donations, we weren't getting any super chats, anything like that. So for about a month or 2 months, there's nothing. So our Patreon was the only thing that we had to to keep the channel going. And the whole idea behind this, hopefully it does. I mean, the book that you sent me, by the way, that's fantastic. That's a video right there. That's a Patreon video. That's an NSFY video. We're hoping that I'm going to getting involved in some of these here. I'm going to get some other people involved. I'm going to get you over on the channel. Don't forget that. And I've been talking to Jamie. Oh, I do. Bridget Leahy. It's just incredible. I still got to pick up Faceless from Severn End Road. I almost picked it up actually when we were going, but I had to grab Alligator at the time because I wanted to do like an Alligator retrospective. But our stuff still hasn't gotten here, and it's gotten really frustrating. We're waiting for our stuff to come. It hasn't even shipped out yet. They're looking for the right port, is what they told us last time. So I've got like thousands of movies and books and stuff that aren't here. The Bridget Leahy book and stuff like that. Those I took with me because I wanted to have them here at the time. But what really gets frustrating is my region free player is my region free player. Thank you, Alan. Unfortunately, is over there, so I can't watch any of my Scream Factory stuff. So that's what I was going to say. So I've been looking at stuff to watch, just even stuff to watch for myself. And I watched a few movies. I got to watch Bodies. I got to watch Tubies, Terror Train, stuff like that. But there's a whole bunch of Scream Factory. I'm like, oh, I would really love to watch this. And one of them, so I bought Alligator. So I thought, okay, Alligator's fantastic because it's a 4K. So I'll be able to watch that at least anyway. So even if some stuff takes a while to get here, then when my Xbox will be here, I can at least watch like 4K discs on the Xbox. So we don't have that. So I've been lucky in that my sister-in-law, she loaned us her PS4, so I can watch Blu-ray discs, like Region 2 Blu-ray discs on the PS4. So I truly appreciate that. She's a gamer too, so the fact that she did that, that's pretty baller. That's pretty cool. But yeah, it's been different. We've been trying to get our Patreon back on track. Our last donations were during I think last year, so that was or earlier or no, not last year, earlier on the year. So yeah, it's made the channel. It's been difficult. So if you're a channel and you're let me know if you're going through any of the same like kind of growing issues right now that we are. I'm kind of wondering if it's maybe like is that a YouTube this time of year type of thing? But normally this time of year is better for my channel. I know you guys don't like to hear me talk about this stuff. Like some of you don't. Some of you like, I'll lose some like viewers, they'll go off because I talk about behind the scenes stuff. But I want you guys to know, because some of you guys, this is what you're gonna either you're doing this or something that you're gonna be doing in the future, and I hope that you're truly successful at it. So once you know all the hills and valleys along the way. Dude, if anybody deserves to be monetized, you guys deserve to be monetized. You guys are a great couple too, although you're such a cute couple. Monetization, I'll tell you right now though, Metal Tavern, Patreon, and or buy me a coffee, something like that. That's definitely where it's at. Monetization for YouTube, you'll definitely get it back going. It takes time. Like it's been a very different time. It feels like things are being pushed differently. It feels like the algorithm has changed when it comes to YouTube. And I've had people that like would be here like all the time, and it's partially me because I used to do like live videos almost every night, and I had a nice base built up. But there's other people that do live videos now, and I kind of slowed down a bit. I didn't because I didn't want to kind of conflict with other people that are doing videos at other times, and I think I gave a bit of my base at that point. Thank you, Metal Tavern. I really appreciate it. Didn't have to do that, but I truly appreciate it. Do it about what you love. Weeks 20,000. I love to get 20,000 views, but you do some good stuff, man. Because that's where it's going to be. It's going to come in handy. So let me move over here. So when you're doing a channel, a lot of guys on here are doing channels, podcasts, stuff like that. But for people that aren't, or they're just starting, there's this catch over there, they're just starting or they're doing their thing, is just don't think about what people are gonna like. Because if you do something, do a channel or do videos on stuff that you don't like because you think is gonna get hits or get views, that's not gonna work in the long run. It's gotta be, it has to be something that you're gonna be, it can work for a while. Just ask James Rolfe. But it has to be something that you're feeling good about, feeling passionate about. But disturbing movies, that is good. Getting one to go viral, man, that's something to bounce off of. Like, I'm having coffee. You don't want coffee, trust me, kitty cat. Well, you probably do, but you don't need coffee. Of all the cats in the world that don't need coffee, you are the top cat that doesn't need coffee. I know. But yeah, Eddie, do it on the things that you want. But like just and focus on what you on what you like. Like Planet Mindless did stuff on disturbing videos. Videos. A lot of that stuff were really like tracks. So if you're like Vinegar Syndrome or Severin or stuff like that, they're on a high right now. Much like Criterion was a couple years back. Criterion's still on a bit of a high, but viewership for like movies and stuff, Vinegar Syndrome and companies like that. So especially if you like a company that may not get as much views or may not get as much notice. When I started doing like videos on Vinegar Syndrome, nobody bought Vinegar Syndrome. Like, not very many people. But that helped me because when Vinegar Syndrome suddenly became like popular, then all of a sudden people were looking at those videos that I had done before. And there's a couple other channels too, same thing. They had done some of those titles. And there's even a guy, God, he's really good too. He would actually like seriously. Thank you, Mono Man. I really appreciate that. Master Chaos is a good friend, and we I do like this full moon features with him. I missed the last one because of the I'm one of one of the panelists, but whenever we can, we try to get something done together. Like if I could have got there when he was making this film, I would have made him. I would have gotten to put me in the scene in the back of the film. For those that don't know, Master Chaos just recently did a movie. It's out in theaters called Headless Horseman. And if you haven't checked it out yet, 100% check it out. If it was at my theater here in Morocco, I would definitely go check it out. But it's one I'll definitely have a physical copy of down the road. I'll buy a physical copy of that because I wanna get that. So the last movie he did before this was La Llorona, and now he did Headless Horseman, and it looks really cool. I'm going to try and make Thursday. I am going to try and make Thursday because I'm after last week's. Okay, guys. So Fat Samurai Guy does this really cool versus thing. He has one movie against another, and for the month of October, he always does like horror versus, and he tries to pick unique stuff, and I really appreciate the fact that he does that. Now, last week, he did the Fright Night 2, one of the movies that, I talked about on my horrorcast that really needs a Blu-ray release. And versus American Werewolf in Paris. So if you haven't seen that video yet, definitely check it out. But come on, for those that haven't watched it, give me a guess at which movie you think won versus. Give me a guess at who won versus, because for some ungodly reason, although Fright Night 2 is, a really good film, and the only reason that it hasn't been released with a good special edition is because of a murder. EH, last time I checked, the reason that Fright Night 2 wasn't put on Blu-ray is because the producing, the funding for Fright Night 2 was by a Mr. Menendez. And his sons killed him. So that's why that's not on with the special edition. Yeah, An American Werewolf in Paris one. An American Werewolf in Paris, by the way. Now I'm gonna put it. It's not a good movie. it's its effects are horrible, and it's not a good movie. And I love werewolf movies. DJ knows I love werewolf movies. Some of my favorite: Dog Soldiers. God, just The Howling. Freak. I love Howling 4 for crying out loud. I can't believe you voted for Paris. Well, I can actually. You like werewolf movies, but John Grease in Fright Night 2 is a much better werewolf. A much better werewolf, like than anybody in American Werewolf in Paris. I'm going to say this, DJ. I want you to remember this. Bowling scene. Bowling alley scene in Friday Night 2 is really good. See, if I was there, I would have convinced you. I know I would have. It would have been interesting, but it would convince you. But no shade. I got to be honest. It made for a great episode of Versus because nobody would have called it. Yes, Alan, that's done by a good friend of mine. That's he has a channel on YouTube called Master Chaos. He's the director of that film. Blair Witch 2: Book of Shadows is the bomb, man. I consider Blair Witch 2: Book of Shadows one of the most underrated when it comes to that the old school. I'll get to it right. The old school style of doing a sequel. Now there's another movie that as a sequel did its own thing, and now I may be a bit biased because I didn't like. I'm glad you got Ginger Snaps, Canadian one in the top five. I didn't like their first Blair Witch when I first saw it. Like it's grown on me a little bit, but still, I think it's underwhelming. It had a great soundtrack. Yeah, it had a really good soundtrack too, Blair Witch Book of Shadows, if I remember correctly. I got to start up the dishwasher here. So my better half gets up, and she's got to go out tomorrow morning, so she might have to get some. Want to get her coffee in the morning. Then I want to make sure that her coffee mugs that she uses are done. I'm that kind of guy. So I got the, see, finish. Hey, out of that. You are so curious, kitty cat. I know. Oh. There was a thing here, right? There had these two like bouncy ball type things on here. There's one here too. I'm not sure that one is that, but one of them. There it is right there. Woohoo! Hey. Top 5 werewolf films is easier to list than top 5 vampire films. Actually, that's kind of true, you know. I think the thing is that when the werewolf films that are out there that are good are extremely good, and the ones that don't work as well just don't work at all. But vampire films, I find you can get you got a bit more range with them, like because at the end of the day, there's still the story. There's still Dracula, right? And you can make a decent Dracula. There are some good ones. There is one, and DJ, tell me which one this is because the name has escaped me. But you did yeah, actually, that's on its way. I hope it's on its way here. And okay, so there's this werewolf film about, oh God, there's this guy, a blind guy, and he's moves into this like old age like town or something like that, like this town, and there's somebody, one of his neighbors is a werewolf and it's killing people. Late Phases, thank you. I love that film. Late Phases, Planet Mono, if you haven't checked that out. Silver Bullet was a favorite of mine. I'm Canadian too, so like not Molly Ringwald. We got Anna Green Gables in that one. Megan Follows. Ethan Embry. I say if I'm gonna go for like werewolf information, I'm gonna go to you. And Gary Busey is just the most Gary Busey that he can Gary Busey in that film. It's so cool. Wolfen's a good film too. I mean, like Wolfen is more. I'm not sure. I guess would you call Wolfen a werewolf movie? I mean, it's along the vein of a werewolf movie, but it kind of has its own thing. Oh, you mean the Wolfman, like the remake, right? With Benicio del Toro. I felt like Anthony Hopkins didn't want to. It kind of felt like he didn't want to be there for a large portion of the film. But I like portions of it. I think that a lot of people that went in to watch Benicio del Toro's Wolfman maybe didn't kind of get the fact that they were really like a lot of homage to Paul Naschy. So if you ever watch the Paul Naschy like werewolf movies, I love them. Like they're Spanish ones, and they're blood and gore and nudity and all that type of stuff. That's what Paul Naschy does. But Wolfman seemed, although it had the beats to the Wolfman, the '40s Wolfman, it really seemed more Paul Naschy than it did like the Wolfman. Yeah, the Toro did a really good job in the film. I thought most of them. I think the best one was the guy that played the detective. Well, he's incredible in everything. Because he's the one. Because he was the guy, and they kind of put into, like, because the character's a real person. The guy that was after the Ripper and didn't get the Ripper. So here he is, like trying to get this like, this new serial killer, the Wolfman. See, I'm in the opposite range of like I was not huge on Bram Stoker's Dracula when it came out. I always consider that my sister's Dracula film. So I'm older. I'm 51. I'm am telling my age? And over the last 6 months, if you watch my videos, you're gonna notice I've been stressed. I've grayed in the last 6 months, like really grayed. But my Dracula that I first saw like in a theater was John Badham's Dracula, with Frank Langella and Laurence Olivier. Hey, Wet Movie, welcome, man. Talking about cool channels. So that's the one that I saw in theater first. Was the I got to see, and it was very different. There's no fangs in John Badham's Dracula. It was a production of the stage play. It was like very lavishly done. It was kind of over the top. There's this really cool like set piece in a ship at the end of the film that I thought was brilliant. But it didn't ring for a lot of people. I still think that the Lucy or Mina, has this as that's the scariest time we see that character is in that film. But I understand that some people aren't as big on it. It doesn't have like the greatest, but I saw it when I was young. That's the one that stuck with me. And so when I say like my sister's Dracula, when I talk about Bram Stoker's Dracula, that's why I say it, because she would have been the age, and she did love, both my sisters would have loved Bram Stoker's Dracula, and I would have been like, it's a little bit too sparkly for me. Although it wasn't. I love the beginning of Bram Stoker's Dracula. I love the way that they started with, where he's like the opening sequence is like just incredible for Bram Stoker, Dracula. But then we get into Keanu Reeves, and we get Anthony Hopkins again. And Anthony Hopkins, by the way, great guy. Done a lot of stuff for my home province. For those that aren't aware, I'm from Newfoundland, if my accent doesn't give that away. But we have a really good drama program at MUN in Corner Brook. And Anthony Hopkins has funded to get people like the actors from the program out to London. So, I'll always give him credit. I love Blackula. Blackula is one of those that could have been one note. They could have been very, very much like, could have just took Blackula and just been, it's a black vampire, Dracula, and could have just stuck with that. They didn't do that. Do I like Wolf? I do. I think Wolf has its faults, but it's not in the acting. The acting in Wolf is really good. You got Jack Nicholson, James Spader, and Michelle Pfeiffer. 3 really good. It's a really good cast. I didn't quite buy Michelle Pfeiffer as kind of falling for Jack Nicholson, but I do think overall it's it's a really good film. Like, you can't lose with a cast like that, unless your name is Movie 41 or something like that. Then you suck ass. But no, there's a lot when you. God, I got to do a dedicated video on like vampires and werewolves. That'll be a good DJ. There's one to get you in on. Talking about some of the great werewolf films and the great vampire films of all time, because there are so many. People forget, like Ginger Snaps is fantastic. Ginger Snaps 2 is just as good. It's very different, but it's just as good. The prequel is okay. It's meh. But the first 2 Ginger Snaps, superb. Go back to Ginger Snaps 2 and look and see who the really crazy girl is in Ginger Snaps 2. It may surprise you because of somebody that actually is known now. Definitely set down the sequels. Part 2 is really, really, really good. It's set in an asylum, and there's kind of a bit of a mystery to it. And three's not bad. 3 is like is a prequel set like back in the 17 or 1800s, and so they get to play their ancestors. But definitely really well done. Ginger Snaps was a phenomenal for its time, and even today, Ginger Snaps works really, really well. And as crazy as it is, I did get a kick out of Wolf Cop. I'm not gonna lie. And being from Canada, being from the Atlantic provinces, I loved the Trailer Park Boys commercial for Wolf Cop. Does anybody ever see it? Like, if you got the DVD or the Blu-ray, I think, at least in the Canadian edition anyway. What are you doing, silly? I know, what have you? But they have like the trailer that they showed in theaters for Wolf Cop. And for those that don't know, they had like the guy that kind of runs the theaters up here in Canada, Empire Theaters, and had him talking to, I think there was a couple of the Trailer Park Boys. I know Bubbles was there, I think Julian too. For those that don't know, Trailer Park Boys is this really funny Canadian show. And it's different. My better half doesn't like it. but I love the hell out of it. And it's kind of realistic. I have not yet seen the Interview with the Vampire series. I think they aged up the girl a bit. Well, Wolf Cop has a sequel too, George. Uh, so, but I can understand why. For those that never like watched the movie Interview with the Vampire or read the book, there's a character in the movie and in the books, and Claudia. Am I getting the name right now? It's God's late, guys. But anyway, she gets bit really young. So you have a vampire that's like in a 6 or 8 year old body, but she's in like I guess mentally sort of. She's way older, and it's really frustrating because imagine like living like eternity, like being immortal, but like as you grow up, as you age and stuff. Kristen Dunst, actually, the Kristen Dunst, the player in the original, your body is stuck at this kind of this pre-pubescent age. So the idea of like actually hitting puberty or relationships or romance becomes something that's fairly is taboo. It's pretty much not going to happen for you, and it wrecks with her mind. That's I hope I'm getting it right. It's been a long time since I read them. Read like the books in college, and I remember watching the movie. But I haven't seen the series, but I know that he aged up the character a little bit. Some people are upset about that fact, but it's kind of hard to do. Company Wolves is one I haven't seen in ages. Rest in peace, Angela Lansbury. You guys know I'm a huge fan of Murder She Wrote and love Angela Lansbury. I always have. Would love to have met her. But yeah, it was sad to find out when that she had passed. There's a comedic God, what's his name? A comedic actor passed today too, actually. There's a new TV series here, George, for Interview with the Vampire. Now Lestat has been like shown in a couple different things. Yeah, she wanted her own companion. It was really hard. I mean, like but it's a great concept. Now, you have to understand too that when Anne Rice was writing Interview with the Vampire, it was right after the death of her daughter, and that had a large effect on the book and the writing of the character and the frustration that would come out. Because I don't even want to imagine what she would have to, what she was going through when it comes to all that. But yeah, there's a whole like, yeah, Interview with the Vampire could have its own video easily, like or at least the Lestat ones, because a few different actors have done it. There's a good Region B one. Who put it the one in Region B? I'm sure George probably has it. Uh, I know that Scream Factory put it here. Was the second site? Did they do the Region B one? So my cat has gone from like being the terror of the night to actually being asleep. Just curled in my back right now. First release. Okay. Leslie Jordan, thank you. ITV released it, so that it shouldn't be like unless it's out of print, it shouldn't be like that expensive a release. But I don't know. I kind of like I've been getting back while I was researching the Scream Factory stuff tonight. It made me want to get back and just get more of the Scream Factory stuff. Like when I look at the stuff that I have, and those kind of like missing blank spots, especially in the first 2 years, I'm like, oh, damn it. Like one of the early ones in the first year, the only one in the first year I didn't get was one called The Island. And it's not a great movie by no stretch of the imagination. It's got Michael Caine in it. So I got to do my Michael Caine impression now. Michael Caine. But that's a horrible impression. But it's anyway. It's fairly cool. Not a great movie, but it's missing in my collection, and I have the rest of the first year of Scream Factory. So I eventually got to pick up The Island. I think it's still available, or at least I don't think it's hard to get. But if I'll pick it up one of these days. So I'll add the first 7 in the lineup. I'm actually kind of excited to do the Scream Factory video because it's something different than anything that I've done. It's not just a regular tier video. If I can get my better half in this one, fingers crossed, guys. That'd be amazing. That would be incredible. See, I moved to when I originally just before I started the channel, I had moved to St. John's in Newfoundland, and I was going to, and I had to sell off, like, I had a small collection, and so I had to sell off like most of my collection, like 99% of my collection, in order to move. And I was giving up pretty much on collecting because every time I was moving, every time I had to move, I'd sell things, and I could never maintain more than a shelf or two. I know it's hard to imagine now, but that's true. That's the way most of my life was. But I wasn't going to do it. I was going to collect more. I was going to get a couple things here and there, and that was going to be it. But then Shout Factory decided to start the Roger Corman collection. And I fell in love. The Roger Corman collection started pretty good. I'm like, okay, well, Hannah wants Prana. That's a favorite of hers. We'll get Prana. I like Galaxy of Terror. I like some of the cheesy stuff like that. But then they went in and they put out Slumber Party Massacre trilogy. And they had me. Like they had me. I was theirs. And then shortly after that, Scream Factory was announced. And the first 2 releases were Halloween 2 and 3. And then the third release was Terror Train. And and that's the thing. No, you don't have to like everybody likes their own thing, man. The way I like to see it, EH, is that if everybody had the same opinion or had the same likes, we'd have a lot of really boring movies because everybody would just like watch the same thing. So, but I really get a kick out of it too. But it's a different trilogy because you get like the 3 films there, and they're all 3. They're all directed by females, and I remember at the time, I think it was Siskel and Ebert that said, I can't believe this. Transylvania 5000 is one, it's obviously that comes from the song, but I wasn't a huge fan when I initially saw it, but it's grown on me a bit more. Lady in White's fantastic. Sorry, so like Sorry Days Massacre 2, and then like the same cast for like South Spot for Saturday the 14th. A lot of people do. Richard Benjamin's on that one. Richard Benjamin's a really good. He's underrated, actually. People don't talk about him too much now. But back in the day, Richard Benjamin was one of those actors that you could like depend on. He was a dependable comedic actor. Saturday the 14th Strikes Again did a sequel, right? Which I don't remember the sequel so well, but I do remember kind of liking the first one. Like my favorite, all-time favorite, like comedy one, is it's always going to be Student Bodies. Like I just don't think Student Bodies can be topped. But it could have been a lot worse too, because that's like when I watched Wacko. Wacko was one of those that like when I initially saw Wacko, and I was doing it for Brian's podcast, Just the Disc. We were reviewing some of the some of the Vinegar Syndrome titles that came out that month. And so I had to sit and watch Wacko. But when I'm reviewing a movie, especially when I'm doing an in-depth review, then I don't watch the movie like once. I usually watch it like 5 to 6 times. And if there's commentaries, more. Because I don't think it's fair to do, unless you're doing like kind of an initial reaction review, which I have done those too, then usually you gotta let a movie kind of sink in and gestate, for most movies anyway. But the first time I saw Wacko, I wasn't big on it. But like subsequent watches, it started to grow on me, and there became certain sequences. Like I looked forward to the Andrew Dice Clay singing sequence in the hall in the school, and just the weird like dad that George Kennedy is. So Wacko was one of those that I didn't like, and it kind of like really grew on me. It's really 3:40. Oh my God, George, I'm probably going to go to bed too. Have a great evening. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you so much for coming and joining me today. Thank you, DJ, for the super chat, because I will tell you right now, you guys, your patron members, your Crimson Cults, the people that super chat, the people that donate, you keep this channel alive. You really, truly do. It keeps us going. I 100% appreciate it. But keep an eye out. I'm gonna be talking to my better half about a video that we'll be doing on Patreon. There's gonna be another one coming up here, and very soon I want to try to ramp up the amount of videos I'm doing as we come closer to Halloween. I will say one thing. So my better half and one of her sisters got together. You're the best man. You guys rock. And decided that we're going to do the Addams Family for Halloween. And so her sister and her husband are being like Gomez and Morticia. And so my better half says, well, I'll be Wednesday. So you know what that leaves me being? Just like let that sink in for a second. Who gets to be the suckiest member of the Addams Family? This guy right here, Pugsley. That I get to be Pugsley. Next year, I'm choosing the costume idea. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful evening. I'll see you guys soon. For me right now in the Color Cinema, I want to thank you all. And I'm rambling. Talk to you later. We'll do a horror parodies video too. I got to write these things down so I don't forget anything.